back. What should have been a very simple fix there, decided to just Discord decided to explode. So sorry about that. That should have been just a simple little fix job while I was just letting you watch some cars go around and listen to the beautiful sounds of the game. But then Discord decided to absolutely exit itself, so we can catch up on where we have been. Jack Winter still holding the top time so far from Rommel Jensen, who we saw binning it on that first lap. Sam Teague taking second place. Teague having an incredible performance last race to take at least one of the wins. Paul Krampf then in third position for the pros. And then it's back to AMS. Not seeing a huge amount of pros dominating the leaderboards like we might expect. See who's making some improvements right now. Thiago Szymanski and Lucas Fish are down here in 10th and 11th, both making up some time so far. Diego obviously moving to the Audi, having been in the BMW for all of last season. I honestly cannot remember what the times of the silver drivers were, but I remember them being incredibly rapid and the temperature not quite as conducive to fast lap times in this split as it was in the silver split, I believe. So might not be able to get down there. I think the silver split had pretty ideal conditions for setting a fast lap. Low air temp, high track temp. You really get going as Thiago Szymanski's really getting going as well, jumping up all the way to 5th, as we should also shout out Robert McGregor, who is driving the BMW this season. A lone BMW driver, as you always seem to get one each season, but no more. And he has made it into the top 10 with a 148.9. And here are a few drivers still needing to catch up on the times here. Leandro Chiribo right here in the very traditional Ferrari livery. Let's sit on board with him, as we sort of didn't really get to do the first onboard properly, so I was dealing with technical issues. 147.9, thank you, Sturacall, is apparently the fastest time in silver, so going to be a leap to get down there as we see the Ferrari braking for the first chicane. Turns in nice and late, just tapping the edge of each of the sausage curves with your wheel. Maybe a little slow on the get out, but clean, not kicking the back out, not getting any wheel spin, and that has got him on a good start for improving his lap. We can see yellow flags at both of the next corners, so has to be careful, but you can't see anything yet, and once he rounds the corner there's nothing there. Normally when you see yellow flags at this corner it will be out in that dirt to the left hand side. On to the first of the Lesmos, as I almost called them the Degnas once again. Very easy corner to spin on this one. This actually, after Ascari, is probably the most likely place where you see people binning it on their own, because you can, you've really got to try and get on the acceleration really before you've gone through the whole of the corner. Nice clip there of the curb on the other side. That's scary in the Ferrari. As someone who learned to drive in the Ferrari in this game, that corner especially is a nightmare. Much nicer in some of the chunkier forward-engined cars that can take those curbs a lot nicer. And that lap was an improvement. We're seeing him come around the Parabolica 2/10 ahead of his previous time, which should drop him up a position or two. He's up into 11th position, just ahead Robert McGregor in that Bentley. Rumble Jensen has managed to take pole position off of Jack Winter. Sam Teague still in second for the pros, and Diego Szymanski in third with the Audi. Diego Szymanski is also going for another lap just there behind Nathan Burnswood. He's getting a nice toe down that straight. Could have gained a lot of time through there. He'll get a little bit of dirty air through Parabolica, but if he can get a nice run out of there, that will be a nice jump up into, I believe, third position. Third position it is. 2.5 tenths off of Rumble Jensen. And now he's probably going to have to abandon a lap and set up for another one, as he has a slower car just ahead of him, and that he does. We'll pick up right here with Fabio Szymanski, who's the next driver who seems to be making an improvement on his time in yet another Audi. Coming in towards the last laps, so we'll have to see who's going to be the last driver to set a lap time. So Robert McGregor coming down to the line now, and he's just going to cross it. So Robert McGregor is the last person able to start a lap time. Chirabo is the first person to take the checkered flag. David Cox coming in afterwards. He's just going to dive into the pit lane. Benjamin Horia, he's quite low down, but he is going to go for an improvement here. Quite a big improvement as well, which will jump him up quite a bit, but only to 22nd. Rumble Jensen coming through with a tiny improvement to his time. Just puts him down to 48 flat, doesn't quite get into the 47s. And then we see 77 and Nathan Burns would jump up to 13. The 777 car, we don't see what improvement he makes. Sam Teague is right on the limit for an improvement. Needs to really chuck it into Parabolica. He's right on the point of getting possibly a position. No, he does not. Gets close to Diego Szymanski, but stays in 4th position. So, sorry for a bit of an awkward start, but we were very delayed in our planning and such due to the server outages, and then obviously my little technical issue with the video. But hopefully the video will be there and we can get you some cool shots from that. Stick around for our first of 2 races that we will have today, which will be coming after this. Hello, we are back for the start of our next race. Our first race, even. Qualifying was interesting because Jack Winter set an incredible time for the AMs and is still in second position on the grid overall. The next two AMs being in 6th and 8th. Lewis Hawkins and Fabio Gino setting equally excellent times for themselves in the lower splits. In third position overall, Szymanski, followed by Teague, Cramph, Hawkins, Fisher, Geno, Cox, Dudley, Chiribo, McGregor, Burnswood, Moss, Poignet, Sikansky, Cocking, Chanbley, Dixon, and Norberg to round out your top 20. As our drivers come around the last corner to start this race. Here we are, about to come green.
Green light, go, go, go.
Good start for our leader. As you can see, he's off of our camera even. It seems the Mercedes coming around behind him. Yep, there we go as we come into the first corner. We'll see if everyone can get around neatly. Rummel gets in first. There's a couple of guys going a bit wide there. Some people off onto the dirt. Nobody going for the escape road yet. And there is a car around. Looks like one of the Mercs further back is around. Go on, go for the escape road, lads. There are a couple of people clambering over there. Daniel Durrett, it looks like, has been turned around in his Lamborghini on the first corner as well, and people are trying to get themselves sorted out. So not quite as clean as we have had in some of our other races, unfortunately. There is Sam Teague. There's just a big slide there from the Audi in front of him, of Sikansky, and he almost sneaks around there, but there just isn't quite enough room on the track. These two are currently fighting for third position after all that chaos on the start. Ooh, looking for the run into a Scary as well. Gonna just brave into it. Sam Teague really trying to push hard as we are coming in here. See a bit further back where some more of the action is. We've got a huge jumble of people up here. That's Fabio Geno going to try and get to the side of Chiribo. This is the fights further down into the top 10. We have car 777 around at some point as well. Multiple side-by-sides there as Ollie Moss diving a couple of people. Nathan Birds were trying to get on the action as well and get past one of the Bentleys back there. I think that's... I think he's changed it. Must have changed his livery, and that might be Dudley. With then Moss going side-by-side. The two Ferraris going side-by-side ahead into the first corner. Oh, Ollie Moss just slipping in on the side there. We have more people behind them going in side by side. We've got a Audi diving off for the road. I think that's Sikansky. Also Dixon in his McLaren taking that side route as well. Up to the front, Sam Teague has taken the Audi of Szymanski with Paul Krampf now right on the back of these guys as well. Jack Winter, Jensen have really checked out at this point from the rest of the crowd. Chiribo and Fisher and the two Ferraris up front still battling at it. Chiribo just ahead there. The pack's still reasonably tight after all those incidents. So we've still got a lot of racing back here. We can see a bit of it. Oh, and there's an Aston Martin around at this second. Lesmo, what was I talking about when I said that that's a place where we commonly see people losing it by themselves, as Fabian Geno there is just around the side of what looks like Martinez's Bentley, or perhaps Strasser. It was Strasser, actually. Strasser has found his way up into 29th position. More fighting going into the Parabolica. This is Dixon Chen. There's a Porsche trying to go around on his outside. Dixon, it looks like he's just lost a load of positions recently because he seems so out of position on our timing stands. There we go. See him falling back into place in front of Goldnitz in the 73 Porsche. Into the first corner, we can see McGregor around there for a second in the BMW. Coming through second chicane here, we've got a whole train in the middle of this which is still kicking off. Over at the front, there's still pretty big gaps between most of our drivers. Sam Teague now getting a bit of confidence up, pulling away from Szymanski. Paul Krampf falling back a little bit, not quite able to keep up. The real battle start back here with this Alejandro Chiribo and Lucas Fischer battle, which is still going on in the first two Ferraris. These two absolutely not giving it up. This battle for 7th position. Closest that we still have going on, but we have a huge amount of cars still fighting further back in the Parabolica. Side by side now for the first corner. Trying to go on the outside is Fisher. It's not likely to work out. You've got to really hang it out. But even... Oh, no. Hits the chicane a little bit too much there on the curb. Doesn't have the momentum to keep pulling out. Oh, Burnswood is round. Burnswood round in the chicane. It looked like of his own doing. Managed to get back on the track without too much chaos, but one of the other Astons, I think that was David Long, out on his arse. Now we have Storm passing, so that's quite a few positions that Burnswood's dropped down to in 20th now, it looks like. Storm there, looking for a move on the Ferrari ahead as David Long is trying to keep position from Goldnitz in the Porsche. Ooh, going for a bit of a... Or was that a dive, or was that just the Porsche absolutely running himself out of road, throwing himself off into the second Degner? Burnswood now leading this little train of cars that are all battening into Ascari. Almost see the action better from our other camera here as we're seeing one off the road that looks like it was the Storm's McLaren there. Fisher and Alejandro still going. Dixon, it looks like, just coming out the pits. One of the first people to be coming out the pits. As these Bentleys of Cox and Dudley do seem to be catching up a little bit on this Ferrari pair that were so happily battling alone out there. And a much nicer run through the first chicane, however. This gives... oh, it's actually Dixon who was right behind them, who is, of course, a lap down as he's just come out of the pits. This is Florian Goldnitz, who we've seen quite a lot in our pictures, who is now just behind Dan Terry, who's made his way up into 18th, which quite a good position for the AMs. We obviously know we've got a couple of them right up the top, but this could still be, this does still look like it was top 10 for the amateur position that is being fought between here, Dan Terry and Goldnitz. Those positions for AM much higher overall than we're used to seeing. Daniel Jarrett now side by side with Sikansky going into the first of the Lesmo, losing the back end there a little bit is going to put him back in position behind the 777 Audi of Sikansky. Got a few of our first penalties coming in now. You can see there the 52nd for Fernandez and the 5 for Norberg. You can perhaps have a look and see what they are for at some point. Both incidents seem to be very early on. They look like both T1 incidents. Cox there from 13th. That's one of the first early higher up drivers that we've seen pitting. So Fisher has fallen off. He's down into 12th now, but Chiribo's still leading a bit of a train here. Oh, we've seen that's Ollie Moss there getting very loose, and he's now going to be challenged into the Parabolica by the Ferrari of Fabien Piognet. Fabien taking that position easily and taking the lead of this little train that's fallen off from the back of the cars that they were trailing for now. Another thing we should look at, Sam Teague has just managed to get ahead of Jack Winter. I'm going to hop into a replay and see if we can find that, but no, it was into the Parabolica. So he's actually already ahead by the time he comes out of there. Jack Winter looking on the inside still of him, but perhaps thinking better of it. He knows that although he would like the position on track, he is in the amateur split, and so he doesn't need to risk anything. Ooh, a few cars there off at the first corner as we're back onto live time with Sam Teague. Florian Golden still battling here with Dan Terry, not able to get past, but keeping nice and close. Oh, Dan Terry getting a little squiggly there, almost losing it out of the second Lesmo. Like I said, always happens. Fabien still going for it. Florian even being nice and aggressive. Yeah, that actually, Alan Noah points out something in the chat, which I should mention as well. Rommel Jensen, who is in the lead of this race right now in this here Porsche, he won the first 2 races. And so if he wins this race, he will already have secured his banning from the series. He will be able to drive out the rest of this season. But after the 5 races of this season, he will no longer be allowed to compete in the Championship Series. He's too fast. He needs to go on to regular non-rookie series. As Goldenit still putting in an aggressive performance to try and get around Daniel Terry, but Daniel placing his car nicely into the center of the road. Now it's all about whether he can do that without losing too much momentum, just slightly drawing the Porsche off the track, and the Porsche actually into the wall there. You can see it here, going side by side into each other. See, I think Goldenitz realised there that Dan would be slower through the corner because he'd had that, and Danifin, he doesn't look like he looked like he was squeezing him out from the first angle we watched, but from that angle it doesn't look, to me at least, like he didn't give him any space. The Porsche just seemed to go a little bit too far onto the grass and lose it, perhaps reacting too much to what Dan did, but the stewards will figure that out afterwards. Chiribo still got cars on his back. He's no longer leading the rest of that pack, but he's actually going to dive into the pits here. Szymanski, Paul Kraft, Lewis Hawkins, and Alejandro Chiribo all diving into the pits. So these are the first set of early runners who we are going to see pit. It'll be interesting to see where people come up compared to them. As we have Ollie Moss there coming out of the pits, just getting a little bit entangled with some of the drivers up the front. This is John Dudley, who is now into 4th position due to everyone else pitting. So with a ton of people pitting halfway through, so pretty normal to see people start to pit now. 9 minutes left on the pit window. So this is the train behind that train. Dixon, Piogne, Cambry in the Lexus, and then Fisher behind in the other Ferrari. Rummel Jensen blocking into the pits now, which puts Sam Teague into the lead. We'll have to, for his sake, he's hoping that he'll come out ahead of everyone else. It looks like that Lexus taking a very tight line through there. Could mean he's going for the pits. It seems like he is. Ferrari of Fisher behind, following him as the Ferrari of Piogne in front, going for the dive onto Dixon, trying to take this position back. Got a car coming out the pits, which could become awkward, but the Audi looks like he was giving it to them. Actually, the other... it looks like the McLaren just dived off onto the side road, and that's probably because they're not actually fighting for position, I've just realised. Dixon is a back marker. So everyone being nice and friendly and giving the positions. But will Dixon be fighting with this Audi then? Dixon still obviously wants to go as fast as possible for his own race. Here he is, yeah, and that is the Audi of Mike Doherty. Used to drive Astons, and unfortunately not managing to slot in nicely behind the Ferrari there has put him behind his own rival lower down. He also has that 15-second penalty to contend with, unfortunately. Rummel Jensen has also come out of the pits now. Yeah, and he's a good way ahead of his nearest rival. His nearest rival just come out the first corner there. As we see the 73 car, that's golden. He's spun himself around. Oh, he's already out there, it looks like. Yeah, that is an unfortunate one. So that was a while ago how he went out, and he's been waiting there for a long time. That is unfortunate. All of these cars that we're watching now are further forward than the other cars. Nathan Burnswood trying to hold off David Long for 20th, just behind Benjamin Horriot. They're in a little three-car Aston Martin trio here. Horriot at the back of the train in front of them. Here we see Fabian Sikansky chasing down Esposito. Few battles still going on the field. Here's Justin Clerk coming out of the pits. Who else has pit? Daniel Drett is the only one yet to pit, so everyone has gone in and come out and is in basically the same order, although Diego Szymanski has a drive-through penalty, so he has been speeding in the pit lane a little bit. Yeah, Teague, as many people have noticed, Teague does make sure to keep his hazard lights on. This is because he is a hazard. And he's just doing the responsible thing and warning people. just under 10 minutes left of our race. Daniel Dorette is currently leading, being the only driver yet to pit. He has 4 minutes left to do so. Rummel Jensen is after him and is plain sailing in order to get banned from the rookie championship that we run. Sam Teague and David Cox are the other drivers who are on 1 win this season, and I believe Nathan Burnswood has a win from a previous season, which still counts towards our your band setup. We're on board with Lucas Fisher, who's still chasing down Chiribo. Amazingly, these two having a great fight to see who would be the lead Ferrari as Szymanski comes in for his drive-through. The map placement there, a little bit awkward, getting in what little view we have. If only it was a little bit lower. Always terrifying following someone into such a big braking zone as that. Fisher with a little bit of a kick on the outside as well. Just for good measure. Fabian Gino going for a dive on Szymanski. He's going to get it, but can he keep it? He needs a good exit out of the chicane as well. And it looks like banging move there from the Lexus driver is going to manage it, but Ollie Moss right on the back is going to make this even harder now for Szymanski. He's not going to want to lose another position so soon. He's going to need to really put himself in behind the Lexus driver. Oh, Ollie Moss, late move there to get out of the way. Audi does a good job giving him space there into that second chicane, and they carry on racing, but that has let Fabio Gino escape. Ollie Moss is going to go for it into the second Lesmo. Just keeps his nose out of it there. Martin Roundtree, as we say that, is going side by side with David Long there. David Long looking to take the position but can't do it. Horiot going a little bit wide behind them, but managing to keep the foot in and keep its momentum. Further forward, more people are fighting into the first corner as well. Yeah, I think a lot of people use flashing for different reasons. That's why I do not think it is important to bind your flash, as we see Ollie Moss trying to make that move split stick. As chat is talking about, I think Ollie Moss might have been flashing the Audi earlier just to try and put him off. I'm not sure it works ever, but, you know, some people will go for every little advantage they can get. And Ollie Moss definitely took the advantage there because he has taken that position with a nice move, a commanding move into the first corner. Here we can see, both from the back of and from the TV camera, we can see Dan Terry there in the background is following this battle. Behem versus Strom.
Pit window is now closed.
The pit window closes. They're going to come side by side. The McLaren's trying to take the position into Ascari. He's going to manage it for now. And it's an awkward fight to take on the outside there into Ascari, because when you're on the outside, you can't take as much of the curb as the driver on the inside can. Daniel Terry is now on the advantage. Going to be right behind Bien. And that lovely ACCSS liveried Ferrari. The endurance liveried Aston Martin behind him. Sam Teague is now within sight of Rummel Jensen as we see, I believe that's Goldenet's spun on straight there after Ascari. Perhaps took a bit too much speed out of Ascari. But Sam Teague doing a good job to pull up to the back of Rummel Jensen here. I'd love to see a last lap go for the league. Sam Teague and Rummel Jensen must be doing a bit of fighting for the lead of the championship here with how well they've both been. Yeah, Fabio Gino apparently just got a DT, and we can see there the polystyrene all over the place, so possibly the result of that taking a little bit too much liberty through the chicane. Yeah, it's true. There's not many places to get the cuts on Monza. That's why I say I assume that it might be taking too much liberty through a chicane, as we see some dust kicked up there on the exit of turn 1. Plenty of fighting still going throughout this race. It's really good to see. Rodelli there. Haven't seen much for Rodelli. He's normally much closer to the front of the amateur split, but there he's going for a move on Esposito. Nicely done there through the second chicane, the De La Roja. Oh, and he's going to get another position, it looks like, because Sikansky has gone off. Sikansky went a little bit too wide into the first Lesmo and is now going to be placed behind. So unfortunately, this last lap battle hasn't paid off for Rummel Jensen, pulling away from Samuel Teague here. Here we go, Sikansky has Esposito on the back of him now, looking for a go. Esposito was just passed by the Porsche ahead of Rodelli and wants a position back for it. Not going to be able to get it into the Parabolica, but he is going to go following through now. Side by side ahead of them as well. That's the Mercedes of Andy Thorpe. It looks like he'll be losing out a position to Rodelli as well.
The leader has finished the race.
There we go. Rummel Jensen across the line. Going to take the win ahead of Sam Teague. Jack Winter coming in for the third place and the first place for the amateur split. So a huge shout out to him. Lewis Hawkins gets second position on the amateur podium. With Fabien Piognet taking that third position. Still a few fights going on here. David Long being pressured by Arno Strom. Got still this fight. These fights back here. Skansky actually ahead of Andy Thorpe. It looks like Thorpe must have had an issue. A lot of penalties you can see down the order though, so it's hard to know exactly where everyone has come this far back. I think we had a good first race today. And a little bit messier than Silver Split. A few more penalties. Obviously, the first shout out has to be to Rummel Jensen. Rummel Jensen is going to have our your band seal of approval. And here are our finishing positions with the penalties taken into account. Unfortunately, we can't see the pro standings but on their own. But in the pro standings, Jensen comes first, Sam Teague second, Paul Cramp third, followed by Dudley, Cox, Chirabau, Fisher, Szymanski, McGregor, Clerk, Horiot, and Burnswood. They are the only ones who fit into the top 20 from our pro split, amazingly. You can see further down, a lot of our boys with penalties falling right down to the bottom of the order. And for our amateur drivers, we have Jack Winter, Lewis Hawkins, Fabian Piogne, Kelvin Candley, Joseph Cocking, Rounty, Strom, Behan, Long, and Daniel Terry rounding out the top 10 at Monza. Thank you everyone for joining us. If you had some technical issues, but it's going good now. We've got some got to show this. We've got some nice pops and bangs going on over the sky at Monza. So for all of you new guys who've turned up, this is the Assetto Corsa Competizione Sim Series. We run our championships, our main championship on the weekend, and we stream the silver and gold splits. That's Saturday and Sunday. This is our gold split, the best of the best in our league for rookie and mid-pack drivers. You've just watched Rummel Jensen get officially banned for being too fast. He needs to move on to the next leagues. Anyone who wins 3 wins overall in any season of ACCSS top split, so only the pros in gold, and anyone who comes top 3 in a season get banned and get a celebratory badge in our Discord and such, and they can move on. So if you are interested in joining, if you think you are a rookie or mid-pack driver and you want to join in, ! Sign up in the chat. We'll send you over to there. ! Timings to see our timings page over on I've forgotten the name. Pitlink, pitwall.live. Thank them very much for what they have got for us. And we'll be back with you when the next race starts.
Across the line then for the start of the championship season. ACC Sprint Series is green. He's in there at the moment. Murphy's going to lose 2 here. Oh, he's held it. He's done really well there. The page has gone for Murphy then. He's gone on the inside of Abbey onto Hanger Straight. So we're looking at turning then as we go into Vale. Looks at the inside of Prandana, catches Prandana. Big spin. Oh, it's carnage. Oh, it's everyone. That's a whole grid.
Absolute mayhem there.
Absolute whole grid there. Who got through? Who was safe from that? I do not know who was safe from that. Goes to the inside, goes to dive, hasn't made the corner.
Back to 15th. Castrop just took a big lawnmower to that grass section at the end of Magus and Beckett.
Down Uric in that Porsche. Look for it. He's got a pick on him and he's looked for that. Looked for the move on the inside.
Nice braking there from Broom, but not quite enough. Yang off of the pedal first, and much better acceleration down that straight. Even catching up to the Porsche there, who looks like
he's done the Porsche. The Porsche's gone.
2 and 1. Honda is definitely got the overspeed. Dives to the inside.
Oh, that's a bit of a tap. He's looked at the inside. He may have come out too early, and like you said, telegraphed it there. He has gone for the dive into Brooklyn. The 2 Porsches trying to gang up on the Lexus then. Urix goes, oh, he's caught it. He's caught the rear end. He's got the movement 3 wide. Turn the Prandana, riding then as we go into Stowe. Doherty a little bit loose as he comes through. That was Magnus.
Oh, the Aston's really pushing it there as well. He was fast and on the grass for the Macca.
Twinkle Bell's chain. Gets the job done on Aston as well. And
Bentley into the back of the Aston. Oh, there's been a crash! Doherty went straight into the back of Diggs and they both just got off. And he's just closed up just like he's been doing to everyone else. See if he makes the dive here.
That's the Martin breaking. You have to look for it. Oh, that's a sausage. That's a big old sausage there for Doherty. And he also picks up a time penalty for the incident with Diggs.
Oh, and talking about the opportunity, Graylish just threw his opportunity away. Might ruin that there. He's still on the inside, going towards Luffield. Right on that green bit, side by side into Luffield. Oh! That has been so slow.
Hughes is looking for it as well.
Well, he didn't go for the dive, but he went wide and actually gets himself taken.
Finding, like I said, it's all the way up the order.
Look at Brenning.
He's gone for it.
Brenning's getting another 1.
He's getting another 2.
Might get the other 2.
Oh. I think he's probably going to get out
pretty close. He's just about to cross the pit limiter line, so he can just start rolling, but he's real slow.
Oh, this is going to be tight there. Markovski's coming around T1. He's spun! He's spun!
So here we are back, ladies and gentlemen. I'm still surprised by how long the outlap is. People are talking about how long is this video. It turns out it's a pretty good length to fill the incredibly long Monza outlap, which is surprisingly long considering how short the lap time is, but I guess you are going a lot less speed down these long straights. So we're about to start. Green light for Jensen. He's done well once again. Sam Teague doesn't have anyone alongside him, so it looks like Paul Cramp, starting very far back there, has actually lost a position to Lewis Hawkins already on the straight, although obviously it's going to be the corner that really makes the difference. He's done pretty well so far. The back of the pack going through. There's a couple people fully stopped there on the back straight, but no big incidents. It's a little bit silly, people not going through there fast enough. Looks a bit goofy, but oh no! It was so close to being fully clean. And we have a spin for car number 80 right as everyone was about to get around there. That is super unfortunate. There's no way I'm telling who that is, because obviously it's lap 1 in ACC, and so the timings are going absolutely crazy. But Jack Winter is still right behind Rummel. Sam Teague in 3rd position is going to try run him down again. These three are a lot closer after the first corner than they were before. It looks like Carlos Bandera was the car who got turned around there right at the end. We've had a bit of chaos as well going into the 2nd corner, which always happens. Everyone thinks they are okay going through, and it's just not quite yet. Oh, there we go. So Burns would have spun round, cars into him. Absolute chaos. Multiple cars around at the 2nd corner, which always manages to happen somehow. Wrong button there as we head to see all of our drivers coming through Ascari. Nice and clean for the majority of them now. So we are back to live footage. Jack Winter very close behind Teague, but not too far away from Rummel either. And Teague had similar pace to Rummel throughout the race last time. Closed up on him even. So if he can get past Jack Winter as quick as possible, we might be able to see a bit more of a race coming in now, as we are back to turn 1 again. Obviously always exciting to see what happens here early on, because it's so hard to follow through. Oh my lord, Daniel Durrett there on the grass comes in like a wrecking ball, full on Miley Cyrus in it, and just absolutely plunges through everyone else. Going through the 2nd corner, we've got a little bit wide there for Fisher. Fisher's fallen back right behind his good old rival Chiribo and almost McGregor. McGregor's now side by side with him going into the first Lesmo. And they set round here. Ollie Moss looking to make a move as well, going for the dive into the 2nd. Lesmo coming out wide, but that's okay. There's a lot of extra runoff there for him to do that. And Fisher has lost a ton of positions through that. Leading the race still Rummel Jensen, but Sam Teague has got past Jack Winter and is not giving him an easy run right now, as Lucas Fisher there actually has lost another position. Has just been tapped in the back by Piogne and thrown off there. You can see him coming through the corner. He was getting a little bit wiggly himself actually. It doesn't look like Piogne hit him. It doesn't look like he did. It looks like that might have been all by himself for Fisher there. And he's now probably pretty damaged there. We go on board with him. Yeah, you can see his windscreen's cracked. You can see he's struggling just to keep the car on a safe line, staying off the racing line. He has to sort of come onto it for the corner, but oh yeah, that is not a healthy Ferrari there. Got a little, almost a try of a dive there by Sikansky, but he's just not able to make it. Joseph Cocking here in another one of those Audis, just a bit further up the field. Sam Teague doing a fantastic job this time running down Jensen. This would be Sam Teague's 2nd win, so not quite a ban yet. But it's really nice to see that he's showing consistent form now. As he obviously rolls on the flashing lights as he does. Pit is now open. So some of our drivers who've taken some damage can go for this. Look how much he's covered up there through Ascari. That is incredible. I cannot believe he got so close there. now he's taken the lead. This is a move for first position by Sam Teague. Oh, going a bit wide in there isn't going to allow him. But it's almost like a sort of oval banked corner, that one. You can go round the longer route and have much more momentum. See how incredibly defensive Rummel's going, but already Sam Teague is just confident with the amount of momentum that he can bring through this. On the outside, just takes the normal line, and this is where he needs to just get the perfect exit, not run into the back of the car in front. Manages to do that, doesn't manage to get a better run. Rummel was just parked it straight on the apex there, but a very nice run at this from Sam Teague. So we're coming down to the second corner. Sam Teague probably going to have to settle in now for the rest of the fight. We can see the rest of the field still reasonably close, starting to thin out now. Not everyone is in a battling position anymore. But here we go. Once again, the attempt at a move is being made. Sam Teague sticking it a lot closer this time, but still having to go around the long way isn't going to make it. Has to try and just hold that momentum in once again. And I almost feel like we are watching the same lap here. If it wasn't for the Parabolica camera. Can he get a better run out this time though? The Porsche just has such legs out of the corner, man. This is really well done from Rummel. He knows where his car has advantages and where it has disadvantages, and he's using that perfectly. Going to have to check down the order a little bit. We cannot focus on this battle for the whole race. You can see fights going all the way back. Further down, you can see Horiot, Long, Clerk, Chandley, Fisher, Strom have all pitted. Daniel Dretton's in there, and he has finished his pit, so he hasn't given up yet. Right at the back of the pack with a ton of damage, and you can see that Strasser is also moving into pit now. Battles throughout the field. Sam Teague so close for Ascari. Ascari is one of the places where he gets so much extra speed because he can just chunk those curbs, which the Porsche can't as much. You can see, Rummel tried it there and goes a little bit far. He's managed to keep the momentum further out on the little escape road there. Once again, going to try and force Teague to go around the outside. All this fighting now bringing Jack Winter slightly into play. Jack Winter may be able to come in and make a mess of this. As Teague is still trying to take just the absolute best line through here. Let Rummel... Oh no, Winter! Winter just comes in with the punt. Knocks Teague off. Teague is going to let Rummel by and take that second position again. So that's going to be a little penalty there for Jack Winter getting in the way. When I said he might make a mess of this, I wasn't hoping he'd make such a direct mess of this little battle. But luckily for us, the engine of that Bentley is in the front and he is still able to carry on. He hasn't lost a huge amount of time from Rummel. Oh, Lexus into the wall there on our side camera. Oh, it's actually not. It's McGregor in the BMW not used to seeing BMWs, so obviously not ready to call it out when it is one. A few of our drivers from before. Oh, Dixon Chen managed to pick himself up another 15-second penalty. That is a nightmare for him. He's really, really not going to be happy. Fabio Gino, I was worried it was him who we saw hitting the wall there before I realised it was a BMW. He is still running in 7th, still doing okay. As we come down to Parabolica once again with Rummel and Sam Teague. Car into the pits there, that was Szymanski. Once again, just going defensive. Jack's going to be a lot more careful this time in the 3rd position car there. Once again, the Bentley just not quite with the legs to come out here. But this is where it starts getting really awkward because Jack Winter's going to feel like he has to stay out of this after the mistake he made last time. But soon, Lewis Hawking's going to be closing up to him. And that is someone that Jack Winter needs to race. And so Jack Winter, to an extent, can't just keep being held up here. Chiribo still doing well out here in 8th. Szymanski pit from ahead of him. 7th, my apologies. He has a different Ferrari chasing him this time, as Fischer is nowhere to be seen after his incidents early on in this race. So Piogne, the one who's going to be chasing him down, but he's got quite a decent gap on him so far. Norberg leading the next real big pack here, ahead of Doherty, Martinez and Moss. Moss, it looks like, has just got past Martinez as well during the last sector. And then behind them, Daniel Terry. Once again, we have our 2 main combatants here. Porsche of Rummel Jensen trying to hold off Samuel Teague. Jack Winter goes into the pits. That is probably a very smart idea from Jack Winter because he knows that if these two keep fighting ahead, which they're actually not right now, but if they did keep fighting ahead, that he was going to be in for an awkward time when the drivers behind him, specifically Lewis Hawkins in this other Mercedes, started to catch up to him. Here we see Goldnitz again. We saw Goldnitz in a lot of side-by-side combat in the last race. He's here right behind Rodelli. Rodelli seeming to have a much better race than he did last time. And Roundtree is just leading these 2 Porsches around behind McGregor, who, after that horrible spin we saw him have on our secondary camera there, still in 40th position, so he was having an absolute banger of a race until then. Jose Martinez there, looks like passing his teammate there in the other Jack-coloured Bentley. Julian, we saw earlier, was one of the early ones into the pit, so that is why he is so far behind. He's already cleared his pit stop. And here we start to get the customary chain that happens around 10th position. Starting with Nicholas Norberg, who seems to be having a better race than last time in his black and red Aston Martin, followed by Mike Doherty and Ollie Moss, with Jose Martinez and Daniel Terry not far behind them. A load of people going into the pits there. That was Norberg and Doherty. But also Lewis Hawkins, Paul Cramp, Fabio Giano, a ton of people in the pits now. And unfortunately for us And for him, Sam Teague has fallen behind Rummel Jensen, who has defended this onslaught and is now pulling away again. So this battle is going to have to go down to the pit stops, it seems. Hopefully with fresher tyres, we can see them back at it. We're past the halfway mark, and so obviously the whole of our field are pitting now, and we're a little bit more spread out than we were. Lewis Hawkins leaving the pit right now, and that there on the left just behind our timing tower, that is Jack Winter. So he was following Jack Winter before the pit stops, and as he comes out they are still in those positions. So Jack Winter, keeping his speed up on his outlaps, has not managed to let himself be taken by Lewis Hawkins. So the positions at the beginning of AM still seem to be remaining the same. There we go. If you didn't believe me, the timings have now settled. Sam Teague into the pits. Rummel Jensen action at the same time, so there is going to be no pit stops. This is one of those awkward situations that have happened where, honestly, in real life, like, obviously they both just ran out of fuel and have had to pit, I'd expect. But in real life, you would be told at this point, like, do whatever he doesn't do. As soon as Sam Teague fell off, it would be do whatever he doesn't do, right? It would be make sure to pit if he pits and not if he doesn't. But now that they're both in the pits together, it just comes down to how good their pit stops are to see who is going to come out first, as Fabien Piognet in this green Ferrari is now taking the lead of the race. Ollie Moss in second for those who have not pit. There is Rummel Jensen out of the pits. And the Bentley behind him. So nothing changes in the pits. None of them having any sort of outrageous bad luck with the pits. And as far as we can see, this is an interesting one. On board with Thiago Szymanski, who has come out just behind Samuel Teague. So Teague not only fallen back a little bit from his rival in front, but is now going to be pressured by the Audi behind of Szymanski. So we've seen Sam Teague attempting to attack and Rummel Jensen showing excellent defending. Now we've got to see if he can do it the other way around. We've got some Go Vegan Racing in the chat. Shouts for Fabien Piognet, who is now in the pits. Five-second penalty for car number 18. Where has that come from? Oh, of course, yeah. It's come from the that incident that we saw in turn 1. And we said that might happen, as we see now. It is really Sam Teague here on the exact opposite side of the coin. Oh, Audi chops across him there. Feel like that might have been Szymanski's fault. Obviously, we only see one angle of it here. We're going to have to wait for the stewards to look at it further. But I think he might have done that to himself. And now falls back a few more positions. That has also obviously spelled the end for any hope that Sam Teague has of keeping up with Jensen. So here he is coming by the side of one of the McLarens. That is Paul Cramp, so this is for position Paul Krampf is in 6th position, just behind the 2 battling lead cars of AM class. And talking about those 2 cars, Jack Winter has that 5-second penalty. But it may not actually matter, because Lewis Hawkins is going to need to pick up his pace a little bit, or he's going to fall outside that 5-second window. He's now leading this chain of cars, and this is an awkward situation because Krampf, Szymanski, they're going to want to get past him and get onto Sam Teague's tail. Sam Teague, actually, is he going defensive there? He's just seems to have let Winter past. Perhaps struggling this late into the race, just wants people out of his way, not pressuring him so that he can have a nice clean race behind. As now even Fabio Geno wants to come into this because he's looking to take the 2nd position in AM. Side by side with Szymanski. He'll be running down to the first corner. Well, positioning slightly aggressively, but not going to be able to make the dive. So we have this little train of 4 cars passing through. Yeah, Paul Glover points out Dan Terry just ahead of Nicholas Norberg now, who's fallen back a little bit. With a 15-second penalty is going to throw him down quite a few places, because just a little while behind him is this huge train of cars. It looks like it's led by Doherty. Yeah, this huge pack of cars behind here. And almost all of these are AMs. And so Dan is going to be losing all of these positions. As people getting very close through those chicanes. David Long having a bit of a better exit after it looks like Goldenitz had to lift off a bit more than he expected to avoid hitting into the back of Cocking. So we got this absolute gang as 1-1-2 is off. That's Mike Doherty. Mike Doherty is round. He's out of 16th position, trying to get back onto the track, but doesn't want to get back on unsafely. Justin Clerk now is going side by side with Szymanski. Further up the field on our right side there, we can also see our leaders up there. Daniel Durrett actually taking to the edge to get out the way of them there as Sam Teague is coming through, and we've got the pack behind them. As our AM pack coming through, looks like Szymanski going a little bit wide there around the outside of David Long. These guys now coming down the main straight. In this AM pack, David Long at the back of this AM pack, Justin Clerk leading a couple of pros near the back. David Long looking in for Cocking, but not going to get it. That has slowed him down a little bit, has it? Oh, he's going to just keep it, but the Lexus does have good drive out there. This at least is looking a little bit better for Dan, as these guys constantly fighting. Having great race back here is possibly going to put him further out ahead of them, losing less positions to them, as Audi of Szymanski now getting around David Long. David Long's just getting caught up now, getting into too many fights. And being slowed down by trying to overtake the car ahead is putting you behind the car behind, as Justin Clerk, it looks like now, going for a bit of maneuver. Further up, you can see Rodelli as well, side by side there with Martinez.
Pit window is closing now.
Pit window is closing, so we're getting right to the end of this race. Only 5 minutes left to go. And we've just got this huge train. I don't even know where to look in this train. You can see Rodelli up the front is still battling. David Long by the back is going for positions. Constant up here for those higher places in AM. I believe these are going for like... I think Martinez is like 5th or something in AM. Fighting with Rodelli now. And Goldenit's right on their back as well. Ooh, a little tap on the back there. One of the Audis into another, it seems. It was Cocking who got tapped there by Sikansky and was sent off. Back up at the front, Lewis Hawkins is also not being let off the hook. You can see Paul Krampf behind him, and then Szymanski with his 10 seconds. Fabio Gino coming under the bridge there, under the old oval. This is the front of that battle we were looking earlier for with the AMs. Rodelli starting to pull away from this pack. Martinez, Goldenitz and Clerks fighting behind him. So Goldenitz a little bit off the edge there, is going very defensive. Oh, nice shout out there from Glover in the chat. Paul, or Justin Clark apparently started from the back. 38th position due to his game disconnecting at the end of the first race. So a huge job there from him. Rodelli also up from 36th. Dan Terry up from 30th. Goldenitz up from 33rd. So a load of these guys having a really nice race, just managing to keep out of trouble. We've still got fights all throughout this field, but the front of the order, in each split at least, is starting to look pretty held on, because amazingly, in the top 6 we have 3 pros and 3 AMs.
Right, man, leader is on the final lap. Give it all you can.
Final lap starting for Emil Jensen. Paul Krampf there might go for a move on Lewis Hawkins, but honestly he doesn't need to. This guy is not in his class. He can take it easy. So I'm doubting we're going to see him really going in for anything too crazy. Jogne also does not have much to gain here, being quite far ahead of the rest of his competitors. The big fight for position really comes still further back at this AM fight we had here. But even then, Clark is just making his way past the rest of the AM field. Here, Fernandez, Behan, Roundtree are having a bit of a battle. Ooh, big dive there from Behan. Nice job there, realising that he'd absolutely missed it. And just diving out of the way. Loses a few positions, but doesn't murder anyone. As we can see now, Our leader finishing the race. Oh, and the Ferrari gets sent around, spinning into the middle of the road. Everyone trying to get past him there. They managed to do so, only one of them giving him a little bit of a tap. Martinez now trying to get around Goldenitz, but goes a little bit too hard into the start of Ascari there. So we are at the end of our festivities for today. Dan Terry about to cross the line now to lead home this last pack of a ton of cars. Here is Goldenitz, followed by Martinez, Sikansky and Long, all in close procession. Then Fernandez comes home leading Doherty. Behan comes through, awkward for him. Then McGregor, Thorpe, Cocking. And now we get the last few sort of dregs of our drivers coming in to finish the race. So we head back to our timetable. We can see how the positions settle out for now, although there's going to be possibly a few changes. It doesn't look like Hawkins managed to stay within the 5 seconds of Jack Winter. So Jack is still going to hold his first position by the looks of things. We've obviously seen a few people ducking out there. But yeah, there we can see plus 5.7. To the results of race 2. Rummel Jensen wins his 4th race this season, with Sam Teague coming in 2nd place. Jack Winter first for the AM, manages to just stay ahead of Hawkins with that 5-second penalty for hitting Teague. Then Paul Krampf, Fabian Geno are the 2 drivers who are each going to take their respective tiers' final step on the podium. Dudley, Cox, Chiribo and Horrier round out your top 10. So thank you everybody for coming to hang around with us in this race. It's been great fun, honestly. It's been lovely hanging with all of you and watching some great racing at Monza. Thank you for everyone who followed, subscribed and anything during the stream. It really is very nice for all the work we put into making this stream great and all the technical issues we have to deal with along the way. I have been Gareth Ronther. This has been 2 fantastic races. I think especially the second race was really good. And we will be back doing this all again next Saturday with the Silver Split. We should have Daniel Terry and Paul Glover back, and I'll be back on Sunday for Kyalami, which will be the next race of our championship. ! Sign up if you want to come and join us and hang out with us on and all the other communities on SGP. See you next time.